Alright, in our last video we looked at sort of an introduction of how we make a linear equation, or the graph of a linear equation. Here we're going to look at another one. We're going to look at y equals 1/3 x minus 2. And I'm going to bring up the graph of this real quick, or a graph. So let's make a quick chart again like we did before of x and y values. Let's be cute, do that. Okay, so if x is, say, minus 3, then y will be, okay, negative 3 times 1/3 is negative 1, minus 2 is negative 3. So let's go up. We're going to do certain values for this to show something. If I plug in 0, I get negative 2. If I plug in positive 3, I get negative 1. If I plug in positive 6, I get 0. Alright, so let's look at which points this comes up as. Okay, well, negative 3, 3 is here. 0, negative 2 is here. 3, negative 1 is here. And 6, 0 is here. And we can see the line that that's making. What if we wanted to show, we know that there's going to be another point somewhere in this 0 here, or in this circle here. And what we can do to find where that's going to be is, you notice if we go from this point to this point, we go down 1 and over 3. Down 1, over 3. Down 1, over 3. If we go down 1 and over 3, we see that there could be another point here. And we can check by plugging into the equation. Okay, well, negative 6 times 1/3 is negative 2. Minus 2 should be negative 4, which is what we have here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. So we see that there'll be another dot here. What we're going to do is look at another equation, and we'll see that we have a similar thing going on. With, see how we went down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3. This time let's look at y, whoops, let's make that black. Let's look at y equals 2x, I don't know, we'll say minus 3. I need to bring this in real quick. Alright. Here we go. So let's look at a few values. We have x and y. Okay, our first value we're going to choose, we'll just say negative 3. Negative 3, let's see, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Minus 3 is minus 9. So that's going to be off of our graph. Let's try 2. Well, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Minus 3 is negative 7. We'll look at negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Minus 3 is negative 5. And we're just going to stop there. Alright, well, we said negative 3, negative 9 was going to be like down here. It's off of our graph. Negative 2, negative 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 7 would be right here. Negative 1, negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you'll notice is we go over 1 and up 2. Well, what would our next value be? Let's say we go to 0. Well, 2 times 0 gives us negative 3. Or 2 times 0 gives us 2, minus 3 is negative 3. So if we go over 1 and up 2, we just saw that the point 0, negative 3 will be in our graph. So what we can do is follow this over 1, up 2. 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 And we can see that we can get the entire, every point that will fit kind of neatly right on the cross section of our grid here. You see, we go over the same amount, up the same amount, and this introduces us to a topic called the slope, which is, it tells us how steep our graph is. You notice earlier we had a graph of, I think, 1/3. Our slope was 1/3. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. Our slope of our, well, that's not what I want. Our slope of our previous graph was like this. But our slope of this graph is more like this. It's higher. And this is sort of a more flat slope. Okay, next we have an idea called our y-intercept. Oh, I'm better to put this in black. And that's where the line crosses the y-axis. If you look here, our y-intercept is here at 3. That's where it crosses or negative 3 rather. It's where it crosses the y-intercept, or the y-axis. The y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, or where it intercepts it. So, this number here, the 2, tells us our slope. And this number here, our -3, tells us our y-intercept. Now the y-intercept is pretty straightforward. We saw that the y-intercept was -3, so this number literally, just -3 there. Our slope is a little tricky. And so we're going to talk about our slope separately since the y-intercept is pretty easy. Our slope is going to be in the form of a fraction. And it's going to look like this. A rise portion divided by a run portion. And this is where the idea of rise over run comes from. Let me center this up a little bit. There we go. Rise over run. So if you notice that we were going over 1, up 2. Well, our rise is 2 and our run is 1. So what we ended up with was 2 over 1. Our rise, for every 2 rise, we have a run of 1. Rise over 1. 2 over 1 is just 2, which is our slope. Our next video will talk more about the slope. But in general, that's how you get it.